Dan Scavino was there on the president's historic peacemaking trip. And now, as the new head of the White House Personnel Office, he'll be tasked with knowing who to put in the right place at the right time to continue this administration's progress.
Well, Dan Scavino, welcome back to My View.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a while since we last talked to you. You've had some time to kind of get your feet wet for the second administration here, and now you have a new role. But before we get to that, I want to talk about this historic Middle East trip. You got to go on it with the president. We saw all your great videos from Air Force One, but tell the American people, from your perspective, you got a view none of us did. What is it that we didn't get to see about that trip that you got to experience when it relates to President Trump?
It was actually very surreal because a lot of people said that President Trump couldn't get this done, couldn't get it done. MAGA knew deep down that if anybody could get this deal done with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and Marco Rubio and that great team, that it would be President Trump. And we're on the plane going out. We all knew this was a historical moment. There was a great sense of pride on the plane. Checking in on the president up in his office. He does so much reading and consuming of information. He knew how real the moment was too. Then when we entered out into the Middle East, and you had the F-16s escorting the plane in, which has happened before, but it was a great feeling that the President of the United States, the leader of the free world, Donald J. Trump, was there on a mission that he wanted to complete, that he talked about. And everybody said, no, no, no. And he ended the war. And it's absolutely incredible. Millions of lives saved amongst all these wars being ended. 20 hostages coming home. Just think about it. If President Trump was not in office, this would still be going on.
It was historic, for sure. There's no doubt about it. You were announced last weekend as the head of PPO, Presidential Personnel. So for the American people, maybe give them a sense of what this job actually entails, what you do, and why it is so important to the American people, so important to national security, and really the future of the country.
It was an honor for the president to ask me to take this additional job on. PPO is responsible for vetting, interviewing, and bringing in candidates, political appointees, to all these agencies throughout the government. And something that we really want to keep an eye on, which has been done, is bringing people with the values of the president that want to complete his agenda, making America great again, America First policies. I work very closely with all of the cabinet members, or I will be working very closely. So the communication you have with the cabinet members is very important in staffing up their agencies with political appointees. PPO also oversees ambassador appointments all around the world. So we have those to fulfill. We're also responsible for U.S. Marshals and fulfilling those obligations all around the country. Work very closely with the DOJ on that front. So, as I said, I'm learning every day that passes. I'm a quick learner, and I've hit the ground running.
As it relates to the Middle East, since we just talked about that, obviously people are really excited about what happened there, and they want to see more forward progress. Where do you come in on that? What is it that you're going to be able to do from this office to help implement phase 2?
It's a great question, and things that actually came up yesterday in a couple of meetings. So that's my learning process. But we will need to fulfill special envoys that are going to be out there, as well as oversight of the rebuilding of Gaza. And there will be commissions that will be created in which we'll assist in. And with that, I would work with Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Steve Witkoff, who is just such a great man. Love the guy. As well as, Jared is very involved in getting this done as well. So it's really a team effort, and I'm willing to put forth the office with anything we can assist with in getting the job done and fulfilling obligations out there to support their mission in completing each phase.
Well, something else that this administration has been very successful at doing is a crime crackdown. What else are you involved with from PPO that can help, facilitate more of this crime crackdown all across the country? I imagine you guys have a role in that too.
We do with fulfilling judgeships within districts. U.S. Marshals, like I mentioned earlier, the U.S. Marshals are absolutely incredible in what they do, and it's just getting leadership in each district within each community, county, and state throughout the country. So we'll fulfill all of that, and we'll work with all entities. It is a team effort, and you see it every day. It's an atmosphere of where everybody wants to work together. I tell you, behind the scenes in these cabinet meetings and in these meetings that take place in the Oval, everybody's on the same page, marching in unison to deliver the president's, agenda and his goals in making Washington, D.C. safe again, in making Memphis safe again. Chicago. How can these guys like Chicago, how could they not want to make Chicago safe again? I'll never understand it for the life of me, how these people do not want to work with this administration. And I'm talking Pritzker and I'm talking Newsom. How and why?
Yeah, and it's sad because it's hurting the residents of their cities and states. So Dan, as we sit here in Washington, D.C. right now, the government is still shut down. What do you make of the priorities of the Democrat Party?
It makes absolutely zero sense. There are more issues and problems in this world. And they decide to fight to give illegal immigrants health insurance, and they're keeping the entire government closed down. And I joke and I say, what, the government's closed down? For the past 2 weeks, this White House and other agencies, we're getting things done. We're marching forward. Look what just happened in the Middle East. You wouldn't even know the government was closed down. To close down the government, they are losing on this, the likes of which, I was going to say they've never lost before, but they've lost a lot before. So they're just not on message. They don't know what they're doing. Zero leadership. I think they're truly embarrassing themselves. Absolutely embarrassing themselves.
I know we talked very early on in this administration about the difference between President Trump, the first term, because you were here for the entirety of that, and the second term. How is he day to day now? Where do you see him overall? And I feel like the sky's the limit for this president and this administration.
The differences are absolutely incredible. We're not being attacked every day or investigated every day. The head games they played, they wanted to silence us. They ultimately wanted to put us all away for life. Then when he announced for the presidency, and we went full steam ahead, we worked in courtrooms behind the scenes. We're putting out Truth Social posts. We're campaigning. We're turning his press conferences in at the conclusion of a court hearing. Butler, Pennsylvania, we talked about last time, changed everything. Literally changed everything. It was from that point forward where I knew that he would be the 47th president of the United States. And then he just brought on a great team of people when we won the presidency. I mean, it is all surreal. I don't have time to even sit back and think about it and think about what we've been through and what we've done and what we've achieved. There will never be a President Trump ever, ever, ever again. He's changing history for the better. He's fighting every day for your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, my family. That's why I do what I do. We could go out tomorrow and make millions of dollars. I instead take a government salary to fight for the American people every day. And that's everybody in this administration, all for President Trump because they adore and they love the guy and they love the American people. They're patriots. And that's why we're here. We're on a mission. We're on a mission to deliver for everybody out there. And we're going to continue this mission. And we're going to fight hard each and every day, no matter what hit pieces come our way, no matter who tries to take us down. We're going to fight, fight, fight.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.